Hello, gals and ghouls. Happy October. October is a wonderful month. Fall is in full swing. The leaves are falling. There's that eerie feeling in the air that tells us Halloween is coming. With that being said, I want to talk to you all about the things that go bump in the night, the things that make the hair on the back of your neck stand up straight, and the things that send a chill down your spine. Join me, Morbid Mildred, a Halloween and monster expert, as we talk about this week's terrifying monster, the vampire. Vampires seem to be everywhere nowadays. In fact, they've become quite popular over recent years. We got the vampire movies, the vampire TV shows, the vampire books. But are any of these really representing the vampire for what it really is? Well, we would be able to answer that question a bit better by getting to know what an actual vampire is all about. A vampire is an immortal creature. This means that it lives forever. Most vampires are hundreds, sometimes thousands of years old. They never age either. If someone becomes a vampire at 18 years old, he or she will always look 18 years old despite possibly being 765 years old. Before a vampire becomes a vampire, it is just as human as you and me, until one unfortunate encounter that would change his or her life forever. But more on that later. Vampires only come out at night to hunt and suck the blood of humans. Whoa, okay, now you're thinking to yourself, nuh-uh, no vampire is getting near this blood. That's fine and dandy, but how can you know for sure that someone is a vampire? Luckily, there are some obvious indicators. Vampires are extremely pale creatures. Contrary to what you may have seen in certain movies, vampires have pitch black eyes, so black that you cannot even see the pupils. Vampires have very long fingernails and razor-sharp teeth called fangs. This is what they use to pierce the skin of their human prey's neck to suck their blood. Vampires have a tendency to wear dark clothing, and no, not all of them wear capes. Vampires also have no reflection. If you see someone look in the mirror and there's nothing looking back at them, you better run. There are many different theories as to why a vampire doesn't have a reflection, but the most popular theory appears to be because a vampire doesn't have a soul. Old stories say that the reflection looking back at you in the mirror is your soul, and since a vampire doesn't have one, obviously nothing would be looking back. Vampires are also obsessed with counting. Let's say a bag of rice, grain, seeds, whatever, are spilled over in the presence of a vampire. It has to count every last one of them. This is called arithmomania. Luckily, there are ways to keep them at bay. One way is to eat lots of garlic or wear garlic cloves around your neck. Vampires simply hate the smell and drives them away instantly. As mentioned previously, if you find yourself confronted with a vampire, throw seeds or rice around. The vampire will get distracted by the overwhelming urge to count every last one of them as you make your getaway. If you are being chased down by a vampire, simply run into your house. It will not be able to follow you inside. It needs to be invited in. But be careful, they are known for tricking people to let them in. Vampires fear the sun. The sun is extremely harmful to vampires because it will burn their skin. Vampires avoid the sun and its rays at all costs by sleeping during the day in a coffin. This is why they only come out at night. So if you spend most of your time in the sun, you will never encounter a vampire. Okay, so let's say you've done all this but still managed to let a vampire slip by. How do you destroy a vampire in order to save your soul? There are a few not so pleasant ways that a vampire can be taken down. A wooden stake needs to be driven through its heart. Its head needs to be completely removed, or it needs to be set on fire. Unlike the werewolf that returns to its human form when it dies, the vampire will cease to exist completely. But how does one even become a vampire in the first place? Well, if you are unfortunate enough to be bitten by a vampire, then you too are now a vampire who will thirst for human blood. You may be telling yourself, this all sounds ridiculous. There's no way vampires can possibly be real. I'll let you form your own conclusion though. All I'm saying is keep your eyes peeled, especially on Halloween night. I forgot to mention that vampires are shapeshifters too. They most commonly turn themselves into bats, which also only come out at night. So be careful if you see a bat. It may not be what it seems. Well, that's all I have for you gals and ghouls on this episode of Meet the Monsters. Tune in next week where we discuss another popular undead monster. Until then, happy haunting.